Let's have a look at problem 3.2a. This problem has us calculating the rate of return. A little harder than problem 3.1, but let's jump into it. You lend your friend $400 today. They promise to give you $500 a year from today. What's the rate of return on this? If you give them $400 today, you get $500 back in a year. What's your return? So I think you can intuit the return just with your intuition. You can say, well, I went from 400 to 500. That's $100 in interest on a $400 investment. That's 100 over 400, 25% return. But let's kind of math this out, and I think that's the correct answer. Let's math it out with the formula that we learned from our previous video. So we know if I invest $400 today, I multiply it by 1 plus the rate of interest, that's what we're solving for, to the power of the number of periods. In this case, it's 1 year, so it's one compounding period. And that's going to equal 500, the future value of my money. Okay, so I divide 500 divided by 400 to get the stuff onto the other side. So 500 divided by 400. So now I have 1 plus r to the power of 1 equals 1.25. I divided 400 off of both sides. And anything to the power of 1 is just itself, so it's just 1 plus r equals 1.25. Subtract r from both sides, I get r equals 0.25. Okay, so I've done it sort of with the math. Now, 1 year from now, I think you can just do it the quick, easy way I did it, but very likely you'll be given multiple year situations, and if that's the case, you're going to need math. You're going to need the formula on your side. So it says, assume you lend them $400 today and they pay back the $500 in 4 years. So it's not 1 year from now. They hold on to the money for 4 years and they give you $500. So you earned $100 of interest over 4 years, not over 1 year. What does that look like? Well, same formula. You go 400, that's the value of the money today, times 1 plus a rate of interest to the power not of 1 now, to the power of 4. Equals 500. So divide both sides by 400. I get 1 plus r to the power of 4 equals 1.25. Now here's where you need a bit of algebra skill that I honestly lack. What you end up doing is you say, well, this is to the power of 4 and I want to get rid of this exponent. You raise both sides to the power of 1/4. So you end up going 1 plus r to the power of 4, but if I raise to the power of 1/4, I get rid of it, equals 1.25 to the power of 1/4. Okay, so let's do 1.25 to the power of 1/4. And 1.25, I hit this y to the x button. To the power of 1/4 is 0.25. I have to put it in a decimal here. So 1.25 raised to the power of 0.25 is 1.05737. So I get 1 plus r equals 1.05737. Subtract 1 from both sides, I get r equals 0.05737. And we've solved it. So r equals 5.737%. Okay, that is the correct answer. And we've done it with formulas. This one might be one I would want to do in a financial calculator, because for me, everything's okay except for this step where we raise everything by a power of 1/4 to get rid of that exponent. You know, if you practice it, certainly you can get it, but I don't know, I'm just not that algebraically talented. And so once I get to something like where it has me calculating rates, I end up leaning on my BA2 Plus, my financial calculator. You may be allowed to do that. If you're not allowed to do that, now's the time to say goodbye. Goodbye. But if you are using a financial calculator, here's how you would solve with a financial calculator. And I do think this is easier. I do think it is a time-saving step. So the number of periods here, we're just going to do part B. The number of periods is 4. The interest rate per period is what we're solving for. Our present value, we're going to give up $400 now with the expectation of getting $500 in the future, and there are no interim payments, which we will get into. That's a big part of a corporate finance class, but when we're introducing a concept, we don't have any payments. And so payments at the beginning, no, there are no little payments going back and forth. Okay, so I clear my memory. I go second function clear TVM. I go second function clear work. I hit the CEC button a bunch of times. For N. IY, I don't know. PV, 400 negative, PV. 0 PMT, you don't need to enter that one if you've cleared your memory properly. 500 FV, and then I say compute the IY, and I get 5.737. So we solved this one 2 ways. I think it was a little quicker in the old BA2+. It's going to depend what your professor allows. If your instructor lets you use a financial calculator, I do recommend using them. I think it's going to save you a lot of time and effort, especially when we get into more complicated annuities and things like that. But that's all for a future video. For now, on your way out of here, smash one of those buttons. Is that the verb? I think the verb is smash. Smash one of those 2 buttons for me. Have a great day. I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.